It's day 637. It's also February 1st, 2021. Our first January thaw. You ever wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what am I doing? And more importantly, why? Yeah, me too. Hi, my name's Craig, and this is my story. A story about life. Life out there. For visuals while listening, to watch the video versions of this podcast, or even just to say hey, check us out on our website at lifeoutthere.me. January in Rangeley. Well, it has a way of, resetting you. Maybe it's the cold. Maybe it's the quiet. And maybe it was the feeling that the rest of the world was spinning out somewhere far away. While this little town, it just kept doing Rangeley. I was still trying to make sense of everything that had happened over the past year. And then January 6th happened. The Capitol. The chaos. The insurrection. And the shock that wasn't really shock, I guess, given who we're dealing with. I'd already written about it. Already tried to wrap my head around it. But my mind kept drifting back to it. It felt strange. Surreal, honestly. Because while I was replaying the images in my head, the shouting, the broken glass, the absolute insanity of it all, the larger implications. Rangeley didn't even flinch. Some folks barely mentioned it. Some seemed like they hadn't heard much about it at all. And others, most, I think, they didn't see it the same way I did. I guess that was one of the first lessons this winter would give me. People live in the same world at the same time and still somehow live in different realities. And life just keeps going. Doesn't matter if the country's losing its mind. Doesn't matter if you're confused or upset or trying to figure out what the heck just happened. You still wake up. You still shovel snow. You still make coffee. You still go to work. I guess that's how it works everywhere. It just felt louder here. Meanwhile, winter and life, not interested in waiting for me to get my head straight. 12 degrees below zero. Snow up to the ankles. Ice hiding under everything. I learned fast that this RV is basically one big freezing experiment. Tank warmers on, heat running 24/7, cupboard doors open. Well, by this point, I'd removed them all completely. I needed airflow, so the pipes and the tanks don't freeze. Every move carefully planned, because one mistake, that'll cost you. But still, winter finds its openings. One morning, I stepped outside with Doogie for our first walk of the day. He ran off in his usual direction, nose down, ready to file his morning report to the universe. Me, I took one step off the mat. Just one. And in less than a second, I was upside down, feet in the air, head in the snow. The kind of fall that I wish had been caught on camera if anyone had been awake to witness it. And before my brain even registered what had happened, I was already on my feet again, brushing snow off myself. I swear, it was so fast, I'm still not convinced that gravity was involved here. And all I could do was laugh. And I laughed through half that walk with Doogie, thinking about how ridiculous I must have looked. Winter doesn't care how careful you think you're being. It'll remind you. It's winter. Another reminder would come late one night. I'd run to the gas station for something. I can't even remember what now. I was wearing a hoodie, sweatpants, and apparently zero common sense. It was supposed to be a quick trip, but on the way back, headed across the bridge over the river, the pickup coughed, sputtered, quit, just died. And there I was, middle of the night, 19 degrees outside, no gloves, no coat, no backup plan, and a truck that wouldn't start. I stood there for a minute thinking, well, this is dumb. I didn't want to bother anybody so late, so I just started walking. It's only a mile or so back toward the RV. Wind cutting through the hoodie like it wasn't even there. My hands frozen, my ears starting to burn. And again, I just started laughing. Not loudly, just that quiet, private laugh you get when you know you did something really dumb and you got no one to blame but yourself. And yeah, no surprise, that walk felt way longer than it actually was. And I don't think I've ever been happier to see the glow of an RV window. Lesson learned, don't trust a quote-unquote quick trip when it's below 20 degrees outside and you're basically wearing pajamas. And the next morning, even another surprise. Doogie and I had crossed the street near the hotel that was under remodel. We were headed toward our normal walking loop. Doogie was trotting out ahead, nose twitching with that, I smell something interesting look. And then I saw him. A mama skunk and 3 little ones waddling around behind her. Right there, in the middle of town. Well, I grabbed Doogie's collar, clipped on the leash before he had the chance to follow his curiosity straight into a chemical bath that would have cleared out half the RV park. He was lunging forward, all excited, because he trusts his nose way more than he trusts my judgment. But I whispered to him, buddy, trust me on this one. We are not doing this today. We circled a full block out of our way that day. And the whole time thinking, what are skunks doing here? But then I remembered, it's the Western Slope. Everything lives everywhere. I suppose nobody told the wildlife around here that they were supposed to stay out of town. And somewhere, in the middle of all these small moments, the fall, the walk, the skunks, the cold, the January thaw crept in. I didn't even know that was a thing. Until I commented on the slightly warmer temps one morning while I was grabbing a cup of coffee at the gas station. The cashier said casually, January thaw, as she slid the change across the counter with my coffee. The temperatures rose. The snow softened. The air loosened just enough to let you believe that maybe winter wasn't out to kill you. And with that little shift, something else I didn't expect. Clarity. Watching locals go about their day like nothing had changed. Watching life continue in a place that doesn't make a big deal out of big events. Watching this world move in its own rhythm, regardless of what the rest of the country was doing. And so many other casual conversations. Seems every time I'd mention anything, weather, cold, snow related, I'd get that universal grin, a nod, and, you're not from round here, are you? Always made me laugh. Nah, I'm not from around here. And I'd hear the stories. One of my favorites, the story of a few winters back when, I guess, temps dropped to 40 degrees below zero and stayed there for days. In my mind, well, that would have shut things down. But not here. And I'd learned things that I might never have even known about. I guess you just switch gears. Oil rigs gotta be fixed. They gotta be serviced. The guys in those big diesel work trucks still had to get there. So you do what you gotta do. And apparently, you pour some sort of fuel additive into your fuel tank. Keeps the diesel from thickening up too much. And you just leave the truck idle all night in the driveway with the heat on. Only had to do it for a couple weeks, one fella said. Till the cold snap broke and things got back to normal. Only got down to around 12 below at night. Normal, I thought. It all reminded me that perspective isn't universal. Again, people can sit under the same sky, look at the same things, and see something completely different. The world doesn't just stop because you're trying to understand it. The January thaw didn't last long. Never does, they tell me. Winter snapped back soon enough. But that little warm spell left a mark on us. Not because of the temperature, but because of what it helped me notice. That even in the coldest months, the most chaotic times, life, well, it keeps happening. People fall. People adapt. People keep walking their dogs. And the world doesn't wait for you to catch up. This thing called life comes with a lot of rules. Maybe it's time to break a few. Because you can. No, seriously. You can.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.